They were,
Oh, wow. There was just like sometimes no corralling. And yes, that was a Texas reference. Gentlemen, and I use the term very loosely. How are you today?
Fantastic. How's it going, Mitch and Holly?
it's a beautiful day here wherever I am.
DT, I love your background. It's a very kind of appropriate because we're going to talk about, well, I guess yeah, like the Bill Maher reference, and this is going to give you an intro right away, Holly, as the podcast space travel expert. We're going to talk. We were talking about in another call we had that Holly had to back off on, so we went and discussed it on our own. But but we were talking about Bill Maher. Keeps he's referred to it more than once, but the footage from the crowd at the Apollo 11 moon landing, which Holly, I don't need to tell you, was back in 1969. But he just took pointed to the crowd. He's talking about the crowd. He said they just look healthier. You know, they're thinner, more trim. It was hard to find a fat person. But then DT brought up in our discussion that Neil deGrasse Tyson argument, conversely saying that we're healthier now. And DT, forgive me if I'm wrong for the summary, but modern medicine massively increased life expectancy, infant mortality has dropped, and injuries and infections no longer are like automatic death sentences. So that's basically the discussion today is were we healthier then than we are now?
It's a complicated answer
Oh,
because
it sure is.
we're healthier in some ways, but not healthier in other ways. You know,
And
it's
we will have, references in here to any like statistical facts. I mean, like for
no,
example, the CDC says today our life expectancy, and just so you guys know, and we all clear on this, women live longer, but life expectancy for men is 76 and for women is 81. So they're calling it about 79. And in 1960, it was 70. So yes, according to that stat from the CDC, we're healthier today.
I
Or is
believe
it?
that though that this just recently went down. That
I just
the
checked
Yeah,
today.
here's
All I had is stats from 2024. That's the most
yeah,
recent one I've got.
I don't know if it's gone down from where you're talking about, but I remember reading it was on a reputable site that this for the first time in decades the life expectancy of a man had gone down. And there's a,
thank
I
goodness.
believe that
Thank,
can
thank
see that
you.
easily.
Thank goodness it's going down.
Ah,
It's,
the race to
Why?
death.
Well, I mean, because I mean, I think the core question is, are we actually healthier now, or we are just better at surviving longer, which is a big difference, right?
We're just existing longer, I
so Neil
think.
deGrasse's point about, and it's not a, it was just, he was being cute too, but so he said if, in the 1200s, the lifespan was 35 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And in 1900, it was 45 years or whatever. And he goes, you know what?
Yeah,
They all had in common, they all ate organic. there was no,
Yeah. There's
everything they ate was
well,
organic. They got sunshine. They weren't doing any of this modern stuff that's bad for you. Now we lace our food with all kinds of chemicals and stuff, and we've been
that's
doing it
right.
for years, and we're living longer. And so,
And back in the day, you treated major things. Now, and this bothers me. Why you have commercials on TV for specialty drugs for specialty ailments that like
ooh,
talk to your doctor. It's like, dude, who's your target audience? Why are you putting this on national TV? If you have this ailment, your doctor should already be talking to you about it. I
so
think
many,
those
so many of
commercials
those
should
commercials.
they should be banned like cigarette commercials. Get them off the
Well,
friggin' TV.
and we'll talk about smoking too, but Bill Maher's point, like we talk about Neil deGrasse's point, but his point in that video was, people looked leaner. There was less visible obesity and apparently less overconsumption because according to, and I don't know why kids' health is my reference point, but in the early 60s, US adult obesity was 13%, and now it's about 40.
I think that part of it is back when we were kids, we didn't have, and this is, goes back to when we were kids, we didn't have as much fast food. So the ease of people were working 40-hour work week. You were coming home, you were making a meal, you were sitting down as a family for a meal. Now, I mean, we have healthier stuff, but we have less time to do it. And I think that people's Their diets have changed, how we live has changed. You look back in the day at stuff, you had to eat seasonally. You don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
You,
Well, I mean, you said that before about we have less time now. I don't think so. I think, not everybody's working 10-hour days. I think because even though medicine's was worse back then, they were more active, they were less sedentary and less dependent on medication to handle lifestyle related conditions that come up.
I agree to that to an extent. It could
Let
have,
me play devil's advocate. Before a few generations ago, so whatever it was in 1888, Louis Pasteur invents pasteurization, right? And some of the early stuff about vaccines. Yeah, French chemist. So all of a sudden, we're pasteurizing our milk and all, cheeses and all that kind of stuff. Jonas Salk, I forget when he died, but he invented the polio vaccine,
mhm.
50 years ago or 70 years ago. So all those people prior to that, your infant mortality, your childhood diseases, and so I'm getting the benefits. I'm 63 years in and haven't gotten polio yet. I haven't gotten all the, you know, any of these
Yeah.
diseases. So my food's chemically treated. I'm chemically treated,
Correct, correct.
and so the thinner and looking fitter stuff. Like my dad looked way fitter in the 60s, and some of my great, but they all smoked like chimneys.
And
So
it's generational. You had generational toxins that you were exposed to too. Case in point, friggin'
Whoa,
Shellnopestra.
whoa.
A Shellnopestra. That was considered a high-end thing that you would have in your house to be able, because upstairs windows never had screens anyway when I was a kid. And the Shellnopestra, I believe, you have to Google this, or because I'm about 80% accurate, it was a very bad neurotoxin. And we were exposed to those. I mean, the things we were ignorant by innocence during our youth, and we're exposed to a lot of things that generationally, that's going to steer our health. We can change it to an extent, but some of it, environment
yeah.
was,
Well,
you know,
smoking I
Well,
think is
yeah,
huge
let's
though.
touch on that smoking thing because both you guys have brought it up. So let's hammer that out real quick because obviously, well, I can't say obviously, but smoking rates were dramatically higher in the 60s.
Yeah,
You actually, it was a joke like in the 50s, you go to the doctor and you say, hey, have a smoke. You'll feel
yeah.
better.
yeah. They recommended menthol cigarettes when you had a cold. They were pushing those. Have a cool or a Newport or something. Uh,
But like DT said, his dad, I believe you said your dad smoked and he still was very lean in the 60s. So how can both
Mhm.
things be true? What changed otherwise?
Never smoked. So people that smoke,
Oh,
when you quit smoking or
you'll
when
get,
you don't smoke, you are the oral fixation. You're snacking a lot more,
I can show you some pictures of what happens when you quit smoking. It's
right? But I
not,
mean, I know like when I quit tobacco, all of a sudden you can't eat enough stuff because of some sort of oral fixation or whatever. So you use part of your break when you were working at the factory to smoke cigarettes or whatever. You
yeah,
smoked everywhere. You could smoke on a plane or smoke on a train or smoke in a restaurant or whatever. But
anywhere.
it's kind of an appetite suppressant for one. Uh, so that's a lot of it. So I had four grandparents, and three of the four smoked. The one who didn't live to be 93 and a half.
Yeah,
The rest died in their 60s, and or two died in their late 60s or early 70s, and
same. But
I think I had that one
early
in the 80s.
60s.
My mom lived, smoked like a chimney, made it to 75 or 6 or whatever it was.
It was that and the diabetes. That and the diabetes was the big killers back in our grandparents and our parents' era. I mean, both of my grandmothers lost a leg before they passed.
Well,
Uh,
I think with the smoking thing though, there's also that was obviously it's a negative factor, but many other aspects of their lives that they were doing then we don't do now. Like you don't work like I can remember my grandpa, he was fairly lean in his 60s, late 50s, but he mowed his own lawn, he fixed things around the house, ate three squares like DT was referencing, he wasn't snacking around all day, worked on his feet for 8 to 10 hours, and then it wasn't unusual to walk a mile during the day without thinking about it. Here, you're going to stare at your watch, like how many steps do I got? How many steps do I got?
mhm.
So I
Yeah,
think
I
it's just
mean,
like one contributing factor, but I think
that's
other
true.
aspects of daily life pushed them in a healthier direction. That's why you see that leanness thing.
But back then they didn't go to a gym, and more people go to gyms now before they go to work than ever before. I mean, it's
our
like,
You're, you're,
sedentary
you're
jobs though. So say when we were kids, how many people had of our parents or people we knew, fathers or whatever, had sit down jobs? Most guys were standing up at Caterpillar all day long, or at Nabisco or Libby Owens or Bakelite or whatever, standing working on production line stuff or farming, auto mechanics and stuff like that. Now, my job, our lives, we sit around,
mhm.
yeah,
sitting the new smoking or whatever they were saying for the last 20 years. So, yeah, you didn't really have a choice. My dad got up and went and worked at the factory and then came home and then went and worked his part-time job at the gas station and then came home at night. And my mom worked at the
yeah.
sewing factory down there, Dan Jack's. Uh, so
Well,
And at some point,
another
you came home and had to cut the grass, like I mentioned. You had things to do. I mean, it's still, I
burn the
think it was like,
garbage.
like DT started, or Holly started mentioning, the effects of modern life. You start with processed food. Yeah. Uh, but like DT's also mentioned, constant sitting. But now where everything's in front of a screen, like we're all, this doesn't count. We're staring at screens, but it's a convenience culture now.
But also too, I mean, I think that things get swapped out. So back then they worked harder, they worked more physical labor. They didn't address comorbidities. Today we address
Express what?
comorbidities. They did,
Comorbidity.
a lot of people had heart disease, had diabetes, had different things that they didn't address them like they did today. The medicine of today didn't exist back then. So simply by addressing comorbidities, you are going to live longer. I'm sorry I brought up a word that you're going to have to look up, but
I
uh,
agree. And a lot of stuff's safer now. So my dad worked in factories where there were chemicals all over the place that are outlawed now, uh,
yeah, and
benzene and stuff like that. So
Oh, we all did, I think. I
asbestos.
wore,
So my dad
when I,
died from asbestosis and mesothelioma, diseases that are, the smoking in his younger years made it worse because if you work around asbestos and you smoke, it makes your lungs stickier with the tar. So
oh, I guarantee it. I mean, and that stuff was still around when we were getting into the workforce. Because I remember my first job sandblasting down at General Railroad in Marseilles, Illinois. For 3 months, my air supply was the same air supply that they use for the tools. In other words, I was breathing oil for
yeah,
3 months
well,
before they're like, "Hey, hey, stop that."
I worked with the IT corporation, and we decontaminated and tore down the Luminous factory in Ottawa. And
Oh, yeah, good for you.
I had
So,
for 5 years, no, actually it was 10 years. Every other year I had to go to Argonne National Labs and get scanned.
yeah, you were
well,
like one of the radium girls.
explain that,
Well, one
Holly,
of the
for
Radium
people
girls
who
was my cousin, Mary
who
Corrigan.
who don't
Uh,
know what the lumens site
okay,
was.
so back in the day, the clocks that would glow in the dark were painted. The numbers were painted with radium paint,
Like
and
your Timex.
at Timex, and yeah, and we had two of the largest factories in the United States. One was in Ottawa, one was in LaSalle, Peru,
In
where
Illinois.
they in Illinois, where they painted the dials. They weren't stickers; they were hand painted with radium paint, and they would lick the brushes,
Lick them and
and
dip it
they
in
would
the.
paint their fingernails. They would paint their faces. When we tore down this Luminous plant, I opened up a wall and had about 40 little inkwell sized cans with liquid radium paint spill out of the wall
That's
and
amazing.
set out all kinds of alarms. We found it was horrible. The people that owned this company knew what was going on and didn't do anything. And these people, a lot of them died horrible deaths because it was from radium
Yes.
poisoning.
So we have cleaner work environments. We have cleaner air now. So it's kind of funny if you can pull up on YouTube and look at like Los Angeles. When we were kids, when you'd see Los Angeles or through the 80s, even the sky was like orange and whatever. You'd think you were in 1880s England or whatever, but from all the smog out there. So now cars have the catalytic converter. We burn unleaded fuel and
Yeah.
stuff. So our air is cleaner in that way. There's scrubbers on all the we don't burn as many fossil fuels. If we do, we have cleaner emissions that come out of those plants. So that's
Yeah, modern life
Well,
overall has gotten a little bit, easier. But do you guys think, from this standpoint, do you think this modern comfort level has made us physically weaker, and that might be one thing contributing to the obesity?
it could be. It
well,
could
yeah,
be. It could be. It could be food. It could be good food. We've been exposed
Overfed
by
but
so
underconditioned.
yeah.
could
So
be.
my grandfather never reached for a bag of processed food, uh, that I could recall. So
It didn't exist.
yeah, it didn't exist. So now the ease of all that stuff. So I'm terrible about it. I have packages delivered of processed food, and I eat a lot less than most people do. I eat fruit and vegetables and whatever. Try to eat whole foods a lot, but you know, you rip
Well,
open bags of Cheetos and bags of
here
I was
here's
listening to a lot of that shit.
here's another thing too, and you see this happening all the time. You just see a big thing that's going on now. Whether it's alleged, so I have no idea the why behind the what of all of it. But Driscoll's in California with their strawberries and something about the chemicals that were used. So you're talking even fresh fruit because of the fact that we as a population have grown so great, and it takes so much growing of produce to be able to feed people. We're trying to make this produce ironclad so it can resist bugs and temperature and this and that, whatever. And it's altering the physiology of the fruit, which is altering the physiology of the animal that eats the fruit. And I mean, it's a big thing. This thing that they are talking about. The Driscoll company, they obviously took a different stance about it, and like I said, 80% accurate with Mitch Wonders. So I'm not going to get into any allegations other than the fact that they found many chemicals. That they're supposedly found many chemicals in the strawberries that they were testing.
Yeah,
And
we don't
Driscoll's response was they didn't grow them. That they
our
source out their
so
growing.
what Mark brought up earlier. That the way food. So we ship food all over. So used to you only got strawberries in the summer, or you only got citrus when the Florida citrus crop came in, or whatever. It was a big treat. So now we want all the foods all year long. So they have to ship your blackberries from Guatemala or Mexico or whatever, avocados, and so they have to be. Before you had to be really gingerly with how you shipped a peach. You only got peaches,
Yeah.
and they were good. One day they're okay, it's ripe. The next day it's rotten.
Yeah.
Now you get a peach, you can't even eat the son of a bitch. It's so it's grown for shipping, not for eating. um,
DT, we
Is this
still
is
get the
it is
good
this the
ones.
argument? Is this the argument where Holly was amazed that a kiwi came all the way from Australia?
No, seriously. I'm like, what in the frig?
It's
What in the
freaking
frig?
named a kiwi.
I know, but we can grow anything. We have star fruit, but we don't get them from the stars.
Oh, good analogy. Good analogy. I
there,
stand
yeah, there's
corrected.
the commercial. There's the advertisement for the episode.
Yep. I'm gonna have to change the title to
um, yeah, so I don't know the healthy thing. Lifespan to me, yeah, it's getting longer. If you look at old pictures, it's kind of funny. Everybody looks skinny, or a lot of people look skinny. I had one obese grandparent. Uh, my grandmother on my father's side was a big woman, um, but the rest were all fairly thin. It's
Yeah,
kind of
mine
funny.
were all,
I thought
not
the
to
other
mention my
grandfather was heavy, and he was probably 5'8" and 175 or whatever. But because he had a belly when I was a kid, I thought he was heavy.
My grandmother, my grand were girthy in the bottom. I
anyway,
mean, that's the way that was your typical body type back in that era.
Yeah.
let me ask you guys, like, not to get you off track of reminiscing about your grandparents and stuff, but
But their
but
girthy bottom.
here's one thing I want to discuss right here, and I think it got to me, and I wonder if it's getting to others, but the ability to use the access to information about our bodies. It's health, anxiety, and monitoring with smart watchers, damn sleep tracking. I get calorie tracking, but it's constant body monitoring. It's an information overload.
Throw that shit away.
Yeah, I'm very guilty of it, and
Oh,
I know every day how much I slept the previous night. I know I log my calories. I know what my
I
BM.
took a 4.6 ounce poop.
Yeah, so yeah, and a lot of that's too much information. You go back
like
generation.
that.
He goes, how'd you sleep? Whatever. Okay. Or I was up all night. I couldn't sleep. You know, it came, but you didn't even give it two thoughts or whatever. Um, you ate, whatever. Johnny's Tap, I'm going to have the fried turtle. It's
Oh,
Friday night. I'm going to have turtle and French fries.
I
And
want
Oh,
catfish. I want some, no, oh my God.
so
You had to go there.
you didn't
You
go,
had
well,
to
I
go
haven't hit
there.
my macros today. I need to eat, 165 grams of protein and I need, my carbs or whatever.
Hey, you want to hear about a happy lad? I found out someplace in uh, a town nearby here makes jumbo porkies.
anyway, but back to the health monitoring. Because I'm thinking, I think the correlation or the connection is that it's also leading to huge increases in anxiety medication, antidepressants, blood
Yes,
pressure medication,
yes.
diabetes. So I'm going to ask you guys straight up, do you think people are more health aware now or more anxious?
I
Just
think we're
generally.
I think we're anxious. I think we're as a society, we try to fix everything that's wrong, and we tend to catastrophize everything. And
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like it's, track your health if you want. That's fine, but
yeah,
just
it's
don't
but
forget to go outside and do something once in a while.
at the end of
Use
the
the
day,
tools, but stay active.
at the end of the day, it's you're still gonna go to the same place you're gonna go to in the end, which
Well,
is
that's a cop
yeah.
out, but older
Well, I mean,
generations do you think the older generations ignored things or were they simply less consumed by them
I
like we are
think that they
today?
did. I don't think they had the time to worry about them. I think they had
Oh,
other shit on their mind.
And
wait a
I
minute
think
now.
that
You
they're
said,
how would you
the
find out with an older generation until something catastrophic happened? That's when you went to the doctor, right?
yeah.
So,
exactly. That was what I'm saying.
You didn't go looking for problems.
yeah, so you didn't go, well, how's my, so now, annually or biannually, I know, if I didn't even have a wearable, I didn't track anything on my phone, I would still get results. Okay, your cholesterol is a little high, so I remember, hearing about that a little bit when I was a kid and, telling my grandfather that, not eat so many eggs or whatever, because that then was the eggs were where cholesterol came from.
Yeah.
And, you know, so stuff like that, you felt sick, you went to the doctor. Hey, congratulations, Mr. Simpson, you've got cancer all through your body or whatever. No wonder you feel sick. We're going to give you 6 months to live. So
And that's a whole other episode, but when we're talking about length of life, does it the quality has our quality of life gotten better? And when you
Yeah.
talk about is all life is precious, I always say that's not true because you look at the dumpster dwellers of India that are there today because they're poor and have nowhere to go and they die in their 30s. Are their lives precious? No, they're not. They are not precious. And
Well, I mean,
so
I think it's like I think you both are saying like we haven't increased our health span. We've gotten pretty good at extending life, but not nearly as good as keeping people strong, active and independent.
here's a really weird conspiracy question. The people that are trying to keep us alive longer, are they doing it to make us have better lives, or are they doing it so they can tap our bank accounts for medical treatment? No shit, I'm serious. This is a serious question. Are they tap? You look the most you spend on medical is the last 3 months of your life, and that's a
right,
proven fact. You
yeah.
look it
So
up.
Oh yeah, but it's a
So are they
conspiracy?
keeping us alive longer to tap us for the bennies, or are they keeping us alive longer because we're better off?
yeah, so if you have heirs, you are definitely better off skipping the end of life medical care probably and leaving them more money. Uh,
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay, between the two of you, I think that's a good point. Yeah.
No, I mean, my whole point is if I can't have a life, if it's just going to be existence, then just skip it anyway. You know, I don't want to be the guy that's sitting there drooling, watching One Life to Live or whatever on the TV or whatever channel that they have free. I want to be able to enjoy something that I have. And I think that that's also increased. I think our enjoyment of
What's
things,
that?
food, as we've evolved, our enjoyment of different things have increased because they've evolved. But with the good stuff has come the bad stuff with it. There's always a negative reaction to positive stuff that we love. It's like, why do you have to make butter so damn bad for you? It's like, there's always this negative. There's always this negative to that. But
Everything's
I say
a trade-off.
live your best life. However you want to live it. Live your best life.
I think fear enters the equation, or I don't know if fear is the right word, but uh, nobody, when you're 20, you think you're going to live forever, and you don't picture that you might live miserably for a big portion of that, right? So
True.
you think, yeah, rock and roll. I'm whatever. I'm up for anything. I'll do anything. It's all good. And so then later you're like, man, I want to extend this, the good part. And so I'm going to do these healthier, potentially healthier things. So, for those of us go to the gym and eat better or whatever. So then it becomes, so the other day I had some family in town, and, I was really pretty good, whatever. Let's say if you eat 28 meals a week or whatever it is, or no, 35 meals a week or something. I don't know.
Well, that's your problem right there. Don't eat
Right.
35 meals a week.
21 meals a week.
There you go. There's the math.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have all 21 of those be based solely on the healthy benefits of it.
I
I
give
Yeah.
10%. I give
I
that
went to
10%.
Ferrucci's and had sausage and peppers and polenta and had the tiramisu, whatever. I almost got 2 meals last Saturday night. I'm like, I couldn't decide. I flipped,
You're almost two guys.
I asked somebody at the table. I said, I'm going to pick a number for one or two for my meal. You pick the number. I'm going to tell you what I've labeled my 2 choices, and I'm going to get that because I couldn't decide. I should have just had 3 choices where option 3 was I get the fried chicken and tortellini, and I get the other
Ooh,
option,
yes.
Italian sausage and peppers,
You
and just
son of
eat
a
like a
bitch.
savage because, yeah, life's too
Yeah,
short.
now
All the good
now you're
stuff.
just pissing us off because we've been to Farooki's and we haven't been in like decades, and that's some good stuff.
If Mookie ever watches this episode, he will giggle because one of the favorite things he did when back in the day when it was still there, and I visited home is like he and I would go out to the New Cheyenne and I'd order dinner for five for just me and him.
I should have seen the new Cheyenne coming. I should have seen, but
And we'd eat our fill and we'd sack up the leftovers and give them to Mook. So
Yeah,
here
but
you
but
you
let,
shouldn't
go.
always have to choose. You shouldn't have to decide, do I want this or this? I want both. I want all of it.
Well, and that's honestly my father, who was a frugal guy. I called that the Jimmy special. My dad started that. He goes, "Let's just order dinner for five. You can get all the different things you want, and then you can eat off of it for like 3 more days." He
Yeah.
goes, "When you think about it, it's not that expensive." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I agree.
let me see if I can rope you guys back to the subject at hand.
Unlikely, but whatever.
Because we've got this
Do we
battle
have to?
between the what was it better in the 60s than it is now and this and that. But let me just like a quick question. Is modern life helping us or managing the damage that it's creating?
I just got a message from my app. It said I
Okay.
get half off a brownie if I get pick two at Panera today for lunch.
Yeah, so I think
Well, I know what the
whether
medication's doing to Holly's life and how it's derailing my episodes, but
you never can go back. So yeah, live a little bit in the moment today. Um,
And
yeah,
I
yeah, this
believe
is
him
I think
because he's sitting in front of the earth and universe. I just believe this guy. I can't believe you sitting in front of a fake Frank Frazetta painting and me in a library that I would never own, but I trust this guy. I trust when DT says something and he's of the universe. I trust that.
well, I think the reality is, and real quick, these are just like quick bullets I'll touch on. Nobody really, because obviously we're going back and forth, and nobody's going to fully win an argument one way or the other. Neither one of them. The past wasn't medically superior, and the present is not obviously healthy either. But medicine has improved survival, and but something just generally still feels physically different. And I'll tell you one thing, the one if you want to, I'll even throw a reminisce at you. When I picked the Marine up from the airport when he had been stationed in Germany for I think for 3 years, he came back and he's like, Dad, I'll tell you, people in America are a lot fatter than they are in the UK. And but the first place he's like, take me to Portillo's. So take that with a grain of salt. But so I mean, we live longer than ever, and modern medicine deserves a lot of the credit. But when you look at all those old Apollo crowds, it's hard not to wonder if we traded some everyday strength, resilience, and just overall movement for the comfort and convenience of today's world. That's all I'm saying.
It's true. You're absolutely right. It's one thing that I noticed that Alice and I just talked about that because school's out. You don't see kids outside anymore. And I know down here, Florida, whatever, but you don't see kids outside playing anymore either. And back when we were kids, we played all the time and stuff. We were always out doing some physical stuff. And now it's just stay inside and do my tech, eat my Takis.
Yeah,
Sit in,
I had not had Takis before my kid recommended them.
yeah, sit
I
in my
had a mess.
climate
They're
controlled house
hot.
and
Some of them are hot.
climate controlled job or my climate controlled house and eat my processed food and play video games or watch streaming or something. So um, yeah, I don't know. What's your opinion on it, Mitch? You do you think life
Ooh,
health? Do you think some people were healthier circa 1965
I
versus
do. I do.
2020?
I think there was a lot of more of a get off your ass mentality and back then than there is now. And I'm sure I'm just as guilty as anybody else. But I tried, now that I think about it, it's like, man, just get off your ass, go outside. Sometimes I will do that just because I know I haven't been outside in a while. And it's just, I think a lot of get up and get after it. I mean, DT, what do you think?
Probably true. I saw some clip somebody the other day, some study that if you get daylight in your face in the first 30 minutes you're awake, it like improves your whole day and a bunch of measurables, and I forget what they were. So that's pretty hard to do if you get up and like I do, get up, take my shower, cook my breakfast, or whatever. That's the first hour of the day. So I thought after I heard that, I thought I should go outside, immediately get dressed in an old pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and put some tennis shoes on, and maybe walk around the block, start or something like that. Get that fresh air and the sunshine going. It changes like the whole rhythm of your brain, I guess. Um, but instead, I get up and turn the TV on for background noise, and shower and make my
Okay,
breakfast.
well, I'm getting ready. Wait a minute. Okay, Holly, what's your point?
You know what? I like to get up in the morning and hit the sun, although my I get up way before the sun does. And being
Do
down
you?
here for me, I don't like getting out and walking around in the summer. After a few years, it just gets to be aggravating, at least for me. If I'm not at the beach in the summer, I'm inside because it's just too freaking hot. But I have a recumbent bike. I have a treadmill, so I get my steps in daily. I do like to, as long as I can. I love getting that cup of coffee and going outside on the screened-in porch and
You can say
have
lanai.
my.
Would you stop doing
Oh, I
that?
can say it. I've just learned not. I've just learned I'm probably better off not. Because you're gonna go, ew,
Ooh,
ew.
fancy boy. Forgot that he was born in
Did,
Illinois.
did you put your grass skirt? You go,
I'm going out to sit in lanai. Don't forget to take your underpants this time.
sometimes, yeah. No, but yeah, I like I like going and doing the outside stuff. I enjoy my private time too. One of the things that's tough for me right now is trying to regulate diet, and I think that as we get older, when I was younger, I ate everything, and as we get older, at least for this guy, my palate has changed, so I like a smaller amount variety of food. But
Well, I think just generally though, from a societal standpoint, not personally, but I mean, like we talked today, I think the
yeah,
information is valuable. I'm not going to doubt the fact that we're doing better because we have more information, but I think the goal that a lot of people, I guess, may might summarize, like get off your butt and go. The goal is to use it to help you live better, so not spend all day staring at the data. At some point, you got to put it down and go outside or do something and live a life. And
and
I think we did that better back then.
True. And quit arguing about the data. I mean, I think now, back in the
Oh,
day, we used to, when somebody would, when a the Surgeon General or somebody said, this is good for you, we take that and say, all right. And now, when somebody says something's good for you, we have point counterpoint.
freaking out,
Yeah.
or we freak out. Do you
Yeah.
guys realize? I mean, I haven't for a long time, and I told people it would go away. But have you heard about the cold plunge? That was the rage like for 2 years, and now I don't hear it every. It was on every other Instagram or every other this and that, but I don't hear about the cold plunge anymore. Take a
The
cold
cold
shower.
plunge.
Now they're saying
Yes,
that like if you can spend time in a sauna, it's supposed to
Oh, yeah.
of
fast
course, sure.
Alzheimer's or your overall health and inflammation and everything else. I still want to see what inflammation is. It's one of those things like fibromyalgia or something. To me,
Yeah.
oh, you must have inflammation. Well, so could somebody cut me open and see that, or what?
Well, and that's what it's the thing that I deal with. They say it's inflammation. I'm like, I go, I don't know how it can be here and be gone, just like in a light switch, But I think, when you talk about different things and different trends and whatever, it's the whatever what somebody's selling today. I defer back to the
Of
point
course
that,
it is.
it's like, yeah, doesn't have to do anything about health. It's got to do with what are we going to sell today. One of the
Yeah.
things that was so distasteful for me when I had my breast cancer charity is I had a guy that offered me unlimited free mammograms to offer all the people that followed us, and I thought that was great because he had the equipment. But then he laid out how many that he would that they would expect to go into this next level and this next level and have a biopsy, and I'm like, and it turned me off. I'm like, man, you're just talking about money. You're saying out of 10 mammograms, I'm going to hook me 3 biopsies, which cost this X amount. And I'm like, so that's what the medicine is. It's not like I'm checking somebody to see if they have a health issue or not. It's like I'm checking somebody to try to get to that next level of care that costs more.
Always, always. They're always going to go. I mean, that's why we did the episode about biohackers. There are very few pearls of wisdom in all these biohackers today, especially that I'm not going to bring up chair tai chi. There, I did it, but it's a lot of it's garbage. But again, it goes back to it's okay to have the information, but use it properly and then get the heck outside. And I hope you guys do the same. And because I hope you guys are around for a long, long time because I love you guys and I want to see you have the best life possible for as long as possible and to keep recording. This is going to be just after episode 200. And I hope you're
Wow.
here for hope you're here for episode 1004.
I thought 200. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, no kidding.
Congratulations. I just,
When is that
wow.
200? Like
Yeah,
201?
we released that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's just it's crazy. From where we No, really, seriously, that's a lot of
It's
effort. It's a
amazing.
lot of effort.
What's weird is I lost
Yes.
interest after episode 4, but I'm still here. So
Well, but it's kind of like sex with your
It's fun going back to the early episodes, just listening like episodes 1 through 10 before we got called out on it, how many F-bombs we dropped. It's like, whoa.
Well, and are those people still our audience, or were they just calling to nag? Were they just sending you something to nag and then
Well,
be
if
gone
they were,
anyway?
they're gone now. So thank
I
you.
know. Well,
For bringing.
look at
No,
me.
no,
When
it's
was the
great.
last time I dropped an F-bomb?
We've got a great following, and we appreciate everybody. The expected demographic was a little bit younger than I thought, but they're still sticking with us every week, so we appreciate it. And if anybody wants
And
to, oh, go ahead.
wow,
And
we love all of our audience, and we love all our audience to go over to the store. You have a store?
holy,
at
look at the
Mitch,
shirt on that guy.
it
It's
kept better because there's summertime merch in there now, and it's at mitchwonders.com. I even made it easier because you go on the new webpage. There's just hot buttons at the top. Just hit the hot button. You'll go
there
right
ain't no
there.
cure for the summertime merch, Mitch.
Oh, that's a good one, and we got to end on that. So, but thank you guys for sticking around for all this time. DT, I appreciate you traveling in from outer space for this episode. And anybody, when you see the YouTube episode, you'll know what we're talking about. So we're not idiots. Well, we're going to be idiots anyway, but you'll know what we're talking about. But hey, until next time, until next time, guys, we'll see you then, man.
Peace.
Please have a good one.